When I was in college, I wanted to finish college and I had a full-time job. I put myself through college and I had to ask many times, and they were not happy at first because they were like a Monday through Friday, regular work hours. And I had to negotiate to come in early. I had to, and then I wasn't even at the level to have a key to the office.
What about people who, because I could have saw this when I was working for a company or something like that, and like I had a schedule that I had to be on. Like how would you suggest people start scheduling their time when they already have they can't take off, just like they can't schedule like a Wednesday day off or something or whatnot. What would you suggest for people like
Like
that?
you're saying, they have a job and they're supposed to be there on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to question if for people don't ask enough. Like, are you sure you have to work on Wednesdays? Are you really, really, really sure? Because if you actually asked, and then and this is the thing I always say: what does your job want? What does your boss want? What does your company want? What is their intention? It goes back to what will having that do for you? That question we brought up earlier in this podcast. What will having that do for you? If you start asking those questions and you can produce the result that your boss or your company wants without you being there on Wednesday, you probably have a good argument to be able to start taking those Wednesdays off. Now, that may not be plausible. Then you have to ask yourself, if having Wednesdays off by design is what you really want, then you have to question the job. There are other ways to work. And if you feel, stuck, just start really asking questions. And then usually there's some other fears like, oh my gosh, if I let go of this job, then I won't have money. Those are all fears. That's getting outside of your comfort zone, most likely. And you have to work through that, and getting some help with that also helps. I mean, the thing for me is definitely having mentors to help me guide and navigate, because most of the time we get out in the open world. I usually tell this fishbowl story. There's this boy that goes to the pet store with his mom, and then basically they get to the pet store, they're getting dog food, and the boy's like, "Mom, I want this fish," and the mom's like, "No, we're not getting a fish. We came here for the dog food." And the boy's like, "No, Mom, I really, really want the fish." And he keeps asking and asking. And finally she says, "Okay, listen, if I get you the fish, then you have to promise you're going to feed the fish every day and you're going to clean the bowl once a week." And he says, "I promise, Mom, I promise." So the week goes by and the boy, he does it. He feeds the fish every day. And at the end of the week, the mom says, "Okay, it's time to clean the bowl." And so then they go into the bathroom and the mom plugs the tub and fills it up and moves the fish into the tub. And then she shows him how to clean the bowl, and she walks out of the bathroom for a minute, and not even the minute goes by. And the boy runs out of the bathroom. "Mom, the fish, the fish." She like runs back in there with him. She's like, "Oh my gosh, he pulled the plug. What happened?" Goes into the bathroom, plug's there, tub's full of water, fish is swimming there in a little circle. And then the mom's like, "What's going on?" "There's the fish swimming." "No, Mom, something's wrong. The fish has all this water and it's just swimming in this little circle." And then that's when the mom says, "Oh, I see. You see, that fish only knows the bowl. So it doesn't recognize that." And that's kind of like the world, So, when we feel restrained, it's probably our own creation, our glass bowl that we create for ourselves. So what I would say to your question, Giovanni, back to being direct, is just ask yourself a heck of a lot more questions. If you really want Wednesdays off, then you start backtracking from there. Like, how can I design a job? When I was in college, I wanted to finish college and I had a full-time job. I put myself through college and I had to ask many times, and they were not happy at first because they were like a Monday through Friday, regular work hours. And I had to negotiate to come in early. And then I wasn't even at the level to have a key to the office. So that was a big deal. I had to ask for early access so I could come in and put my work hours in before. And then I had to work on Saturdays, which they didn't normally allow. And I had to ask all these things so that I could go to school and finish my college while I was working. And and they didn't like it. I know at the beginning, but I listened to what they needed, and I think they knew that my college was that important to me that they realized, hey, if we either accommodate and keep this employee or, you know, and if they would have said no, I think I would have. I wasn't like a career thing for me, Giovanni. It wasn't like the job of my dreams either. I was restoring cappuccino machines. So it was like just a freaking job, you know? And so I think they knew I would have left, you know? So, but I know there's fear. I know, because especially right now, people are like, what are you talking about? Leave your job. We're not saying that. I don't think Giovanni's saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying question what you're doing and then ask yourself to design. And even those days that you like, Giovanni, I like those days too. And that's what I wanted to add. Like, just be you. I think that's a missing thing. And I really see it with my kids. I'm very sensitive to it. You know, like when they say I'm bored, then I'm like, that's the creative time, you know, like I want them. So I encourage them to be bored, you know, like because if they're in device after device, they could easily do that. If I would allow that, you know, like just get sucked in, as we do too. How many adults get sucked into Facebook and Instagram, and all of a sudden time just flies by. But you know what? Going outside and having my lunch and just watching, I have lizards on the ground during the summertime, or I watch the birds, things I never used to do. I was such a workaholic boy from Silicon Valley, workaholic. And, you know, thankfully for my wife, she used to always say that saying, you got to stop and smell the roses. She kept telling me that. I didn't listen to her for years. And, but it is true. So keep doing what you're doing, Giovanni. Like, keep taking a day and wander around. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.